Well, hello everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Sarah Janes from Soap School, and today we're going to be doing our regular show on a Thursday, which is our pantry soap making. And in this week's episode, we're going to be making minted pea soap. Now, it's a little bit different, but you know, it's a humble ingredient that most people have in their pantries. So if you haven't been with us in one of our previous sessions, pantry soap making is all about utilising ingredients that you already have in your home, in your pantry, in your cupboards, or maybe in your fridge. So this week we're going to be using regular garden peas, and you've got a couple of options. You can either just use your regular cooked ones and puree them down, and then I would sieve them because you really don't want lumps of things in any of your soaps when you're using fresh ingredients like this. Or another option that you have is that you could actually cheat, which is what I'm doing today, and I'm actually going to be using baby food. So this baby food is something that you can buy in most of the stores locally to you. Now I do have the recipe for today, so let's just share that with you and we'll run through everything. All right, so this is our minted pea soap. We're going to be using a solid fat. If you have palm oil in already, that's fantastic. But if you don't, you can use something like Crisp and Dry, Crisco, Trex, any type of solid cooking fat that you can buy in your local stores or your supermarkets. Then you're also going to be using 150 grams of coconut oil, 100 grams of olive oil, pureed peas. We're going to be using 50 grams, which is not a full pouch, nearly a full pouch though. And I know a lot of mums buy these pouches regularly, but they don't utilise the whole amount. And you can get, these are just pureed peas. There's nothing else in there. It's just peas. And they do a whole variety of these, and they're great for using in your products. So we're also going to be using 72 grams of sodium hydroxide. And we've reduced the water down a little bit because we're using so much of the puree. I don't want the soap to be too soft. And today I want it to be fresh and minty. So I'm going to be using 10 grams or 10 mils of peppermint essential oil and just a little sprinkling of dried mint leaves. If you don't have the mint and you don't have the peppermint essential oil, don't worry, you can still make beautiful soaps at home just with these lovely natural ingredients. So let's go ahead and we'll start looking at our products. 1 second. All right, let me just switch views. And I'm just going to zoom in a little bit just so you can see a little bit more of what we're doing. So here I have melted all of the oils that we just mentioned in our recipe. And I will make sure that the recipe goes up in the area with the video so that you can review this at any time in the future. And now I'm going to add in our pureed peas. Now whether you've pureed your own or whether you choose to use the baby food is entirely up to you. So I'm just going to add the 50 grams in, which is not quite the full pouch. Looks a little bit disgusting right now, I have to say. Hopefully it's going to look better when it's done. Could I just have a cloth, please? If you do have a spill, no matter what it is, always clean up as you go and keep your work surface and area nice and tidy. Okay, now the next phase of this, I'm going to need to add my lye solution in a minute, but first of all, I'm going to just blitz the mixed peas in with the oils. So I'm going to make sure that I've already got my safety gloves on, just so that I'm prepped in advance. So just quickly organise them. And I'm just going to use my stick blender, give it a little manual stir, and then just a quick pulse to blend this through. You see how quickly that mixes? Actually looks quite a pretty colour already. There we go. All right, and to that, going to add my pre-mixed lye solution, my sodium hydroxide and my water. In it goes. There we go. And really give this a good manual stir before you start to give it a pulse. Remember, it can't do everything. You've got to do some stirring. Little pulses, little stirs. Slow and steady wins the race. That's looking beautifully smooth already. Now we're going to be using that peppermint essential oil today, and I know when I add the peppermint essential oil it's actually going to thin the mixture again. So I'm going to make it a little bit thicker to start with, and we might have to thicken it again after we add the essential oil. That's nice and creamy now. I'm definitely at trace. I've got that lovely ring on the top. So it's time to add in the essential oil, and always stir it as you're adding your oils. If you don't stir, then all of that oil is hitting the soap in one go, and it really doesn't like it. So get it properly mixed in, and I know it's going to thin it, so I'm just going to give it a little pulse, partly to blend it through and partly to just thicken it a tiny bit more. Alright, that is looking absolutely beautiful. And then I have here some dried mint. So I'm going to add about 3 grams of this. There we go. And give that a good mixing. Really stir it in. You don't want clumps of things that you're adding into your soap. You want them to be nicely dispersed. This is looking absolutely gorgeous. All right, and let's grab our mould. Not sure if you can see the mould nicely. And then we're just going to pour this beautiful soap into the mould. And I actually just want a flat finish on this one. So all I'm going to do is just tap the mould to level it off. And I can use my spatula even just to really level off the surface and create that perfect finish. There we go. That is looking absolutely beautiful. I can't wait to show you this one once it's finished. So let's see if I can, oops. And there we go, you're back to me again. I hope you enjoy making this project. I'm not really sure what to call it. I've called it Minted Pea, but I'd really love to hear comments from you. If you could comment and let me know what your name would be for this soap, I would be really appreciative. So my husband came up with one idea, which I'm really not sure of. He thinks it should be called Peppermint. I'm not quite sure about that one, but he does have a rather peculiar sense of humour. I was thinking of Minted Pea. I also thought maybe you could call it something like the Green Monster, or what was the other one that we came up with? Well, It's up to you to decide what we're actually going to call this soap. So pop into the comments what your suggestion would be for this soap. And I do hope that you can utilise regular ingredients from your pantry, from your fridge and from your cupboards. Now we've used obviously garden peas today, but you might be wondering if there are other types of peas that you can use too. And yeah, absolutely you can. I've made soap before with mushy peas. That's always worked perfectly well. Thank you to Trisha who contacted me because she said that she uses chickpeas and they work really, really well in soap too. So that's another great option for you. And marrow fat peas also work. So you've got lots of different options, and whether you go for the baby food option or whether you use leftover peas and puree them right down, it's entirely up to you. Just make sure that whatever you are using is super smooth so you don't have any lumps or bits in your soap. So come and join me. In a few days I'm going to be popping up the results of this soap so you can see the finished bars. I would love to see you every Thursday, and come and let me know what you think of this project really soon. Bye bye for now, guys.